In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost.
Amen.
Amen. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we rejoiced. I was far away from home at Christmas time when I was many, many years ago in seminary in Dallas, Texas. And we faced our first Christmas break. With my very young family, I yearned to get back home for the holidays, see my folks, my brothers and sister, breathe the crisp West Virginia air, watch the local news, see what's going on. I wanted badly to feel at home again, even for just a week or so. But the cost of flying back was prohibitive for a seminary student, and driving from Dallas to West Virginia seemed an overwhelming task with a 2-month-old baby at that time. It was my dream, but it just didn't seem possible. But then, just days before Christmas break began, I was commiserating with a friend, a fellow student, who was pretty much in the same situation. His family was back in North Carolina, and he also wanted to take his own wife and baby back home. So we were both stuck. And then we realized that, well, together, maybe we could make it. We could all pile into one car and drive through the night by alternating drivers. We make it to North Carolina and split the costs of gas and a little bit of food. And there in North Carolina, one of my brothers could come down and pick me up and me and my family up and take us on to West Virginia relatively painlessly. Well, the journey through the South from Texas across the southern tier of states to North Carolina was interesting. You see, my friend and his wife were African Americans. And in the late 1970s, we still got some mighty suspicious looks when we would stop for a meal and sit together. Maybe have a diaper change while we were at it. We had one very sick child along the way. It wasn't mine, it was theirs, and some bad highway food, but we made it. We made it home. Our dream had come true. We rejoiced, just like in the psalm. It was a wonderful Christmas. The people of God in the psalmist's day also had a dream to return to their homeland. They'd been taken by force from their promised land to a foreign country where they were forced to work as slaves. How they yearned to get home. And years passed, decades passed, but the dream kept burning in their souls. And finally, unexpectedly, they were given a one-way ticket home. They couldn't believe their ears. The celebration just broke out. They were shot through with joy. Even the people of other nations around them, you notice, could recognize the hand of God at work for them. It was an amazing change of their situation. But then they make it home. And that's when the hard work really began. And their prayers changed. I don't know if you noticed the change in the middle of that psalm. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like the watercourses in the Negev. May those who sow in tears reap with shouts of joy. Those who go out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, carrying their sheaves. See, the reality of their dream come true was much more difficult than they had expected and anticipated. Their land had been laid waste in the meantime while they were gone. So they had to rebuild. Other people had taken over their villages and homes. They had no protection from outside enemies, no infrastructure. Their fields were thirsty deserts. They had a lot of work to do. But they accepted the fact that sometimes in life you have to keep sowing the seeds despite the hardships in order to reap the harvest of a life well lived. You have to water those seeds with your tears of struggle and pain. In my case, the reality was that my trip home was only temporary. We had to return the same way we'd come and get back to work on our seminary degrees. But even so, God promises that in the end, you will come home shouting with joy, with the resulting bounty of your hard work, the crop that your seeds of hard work and prayer have brought forth. Sometimes our dreams come true in a flash, but that's not very often, and it's not without its consequences and ramifications. More likely, dreams come true after years of patient, careful, determined struggle. But the joy that results from that life endure forever. In our gospel, John the Baptist prepares the way for Jesus, who will also take a long, difficult, and painful path on earth. Make straight the way of the Lord, John cries in the wilderness. And this is our task now in Advent and always. Prepare yourself for God's reign to break into your lives. So let's ask God to help us keep in our minds and hearts that the best things in life, the things that bring deep, eternal joy, the great things, as the psalmist put it, take time and work and even some tears. But it's all well worth it. So let's keep sowing those seeds of love, knowing that God will, in God's good time, turn our weeping into shouts of joy. Amen.